Well, hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Hilltop Pillbox here in Abbotsford, British Columbia, Canada. And today, that's right, we're doing some Axis and Allies anniversary. We got the 1941 set up here. But this game is going to be a little different in that you get to choose your own adventure, as it were. What I'm going to do is, when we get to a pivotal moment in the game, I will make a decision on whether to go this way, that way, to attack, play defense. And what I'm going to do is I will record where the map is at that moment, and then I will play out the one decision, and then I will reset the map and I'll play out the second decision. So you can choose which one you want to watch. Now, if you want to watch both, that's fine. But then I will just put a timestamp in the video, and you'll know exactly where to fast forward to see the results of either decision. So, hoping to make it a little entertaining for you here. We're here in Canada. We're on our Victoria Day weekend. We call it the May Long Weekend. And this is usually when fishing starts and people are out on camping trips and whatnot. My wife is headed down to Seattle with a friend of hers, and they're going to see Phantom of the Opera. Excuse me.
Wabbit-twax. Kill the wabbit, kill the wabbit, kill the wabbit. Kill the wabbit?
But that's something that the two girls have been planning for quite some time. And so I'm batching at home alone. My son's off actually out at the lake with some friends. And so here I am, just me and the cat. Although I haven't seen the cat for a while. So anyway, we're going to get going here. And as I usually do in these games, I tell you my stratagem of what I'd like to try. So in this one here, I think what I'm going to do, the Soviets always play defense to start. They just have to. So I'm going to be playing some defense, but I'm also going to do what I can to lend a hand to Calcutta. Okay, that doesn't mean I'm going to sell out the Soviet Union, but maybe these two Kazakhs, instead of going into the Caucasus, will come down to Persia. And then it really depends, though, on how the German attacks go. If the German attacks just sweep through, then maybe not. But maybe I'll send one guy, because as you know, there's one man on the Eastern Front won't really make that much of a difference. But one man down here, where the Japanese can't bring a ton of stuff to bear right away, might actually be enough to thwart some plans. So that's the idea there. For the Japanese, we are going to be doing our expansionist plan. We're going to be trying to take over as much as we possibly can, and we're definitely playing defense against the Americans. So that's what Soviets and the Japanese are doing. Germany is going to try to build up enough air power and naval power just to keep D-Day off the table forever. All right, we are going to be pushing into the Soviet Union. There's some sweet bonus money in there.
I'm rich! I'm wealthy! Yahoo! I'm comfortably well off!
So we're going to be pushing into the Soviet Union, but we are always going to be wary of any buildup of Allied naval presence. America, knowing that both Germany and Japan will be kind of playing a bit of defense when it comes to invasions, we are going to be looking at a really strong push into Africa and thence to Italy. The soft underbelly, as it were. So these are my strategies starting out. Again, those, as the old saying goes, everyone has a plan till they get hit. I think Tyson used that, but before that it was no plan survives contact with the enemy. I don't know if that was Sun Tzu or George Patton. I don't know, but it's pretty true. So all these plans that I have to start out games, like we always do when we play, can get thrown out the window.
Wrong!
And once again, I'm playing on the map that Hell on Wheels sent to me. He designed it and sent it to me. It's the color of my hit dice that I was using at the time. I Actually, I'm not sure where my hit dice are. So, but we'll get that sorted, and we will let you know how it goes after round 1. Let's see what the Eastern Front looks like. Should be fun. One thing I forgot to mention was some really neato bomb dice that I got from Historical Board Gaming. I got to do another coat of acrylic paint on them, but they just come in all black. And so I did a little bit of an acrylic just to make the colors stand out. So if you send in 3 bombers, then you roll, and you get 8 points, right? Because you take the number that's obviously sitting up. So yeah, it's just a neat little thing. I can't remember how much they cost, like $5 or something for the 3 of them.
$5, $5, $5, $5.
So you should go ahead and try to pick those up, because that is a really neat idea for strategic bombing. Okay, on with the game. Round 1 is done, and nothing too substantially weird, but we'll show you what went on. Of course, the Japanese did sink the battleship, but it did cost them 2 fighters. They also sank the destroyer and transport, which cost them nothing. But it cost them 2 fighters because I just sent in fighters.
That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
And I sent in 3 fighters. I took a real risk on that one, and because I wanted to do things elsewhere. I wanted to get some pressure on Calcutta as soon as possible. So the planes that sometimes go that way go the other way, and my destroyer came over here to somewhat protect this fella, because I wanted to keep the transport fleet intact. The British, of course, did my typical move of coming out here, but because of this destroyer, I had to bring the destroyer down from India down here, so they got 2 things they got to kill. And if the Japanese park in their battle wagon and cruiser off 37, that could cause a lot of trouble in the Indian Ocean. But the Japanese were able to take Kwangtung, get rid of the fighter in Yunnan, Fujian, and Suyan, and we also landed some stuff up in Baratia. And there are 8 Soviet units there instead of the typical 7. I thought I'd send 1 more over. Again, that's one guy can, make a difference in those tiny fights, not in the big ones, but in the tiny ones. So sometimes I like to change it up a bit. The Chinese placed 2 infantry this turn. They were down to 1, of course, as they typically are. And so I decided to let the Soviets come over and help them out a little bit. And the Soviets also are helping out Calcutta by bringing down the 2 guys from Kazakh. The British moved the guy over from Burma, as they are wont to do, and built a factory in India, and 3 tanks shall be assembled shortly. Now, there is a possibility, this isn't going to be one of our make it or break it moments, but there's a possibility I might actually land with 3 infantry here, because I'll have 2 bombards. I can send 3 planes. So it's a possibility. I'm thinking about it. I'm not totally guaranteed I'll do it, because bombards are so hit and miss, and usually miss. And then I've just got 3 1s and 3 3s attacking 4 2 or 5 2s, and the AA gun, which, with 3 shots, there's a chance, right? So I'm not sure if I want to risk it for the biscuit this early. However, the Brits are only going to get stronger, especially with Soviet help. So the Soviets will be there before Japan goes anyway, so that would be 7 units then that they have to take on using 6. So, yeah, likely not going to do that one. I knew I had talked myself out of it.
You're so smart.
All right, up here on the Eastern Front, the Germans did have a pretty good time of it. Lost, I think, 2 infantry in all 3 battles, but did not go after Karelia. Decided to marshal things up a little bit before trying to head in. I know some people like to just send all your fighters and bombers and bring in the transport, the cruiser, and, send in your stuff from Finland and, hope for the best. But nope, I don't have the crazy today. So the Caucasus is now 8 infantry and 1 tank, facing off against 2 infantry and artillery and 4 German panzer divisions. And 1 Italian tank that can reach, but I don't think that'll be consequential. They're in there, obviously, for the possible can opening mission. The British did come and bomb. And something I'd like to point out about these bombs, something I was just kind of sitting there going, we should do them differently than just rolling them. So, roll them, that's good. But you can also, whoops, I'm better with my, I'm not ambidextrous. But anyway, you spin them, right? You spin them. Hey, boy, I sure can't do that.
You suck!
Here we go. Let's do it this way. Oh, well, it did better before the camera was rolling anyway. So you can you just drop it too, I suppose. Anyway, they're cool. I'm really getting a kick out of those things. But anyway, the first one did 3 damage. And there you have it. In Africa, the Italians and Germans have a good force here. But of course, that is much stronger on the defense than it is on the offense. So the Italians, knowing that the Americans are going to be coming over,
We don't want any more visitors, well-wishers, or distant relations.
decided to just buy a fighter, because that's always fun to do. And yeah, you know what? Actually, I think I may have forgotten to put something on. Just a moment. Yes, I did forget to put a fighter on for Italy. I wasn't doing anything violent this turn. I just wanted to collect my money, and so they get their $15, of course. But now they have 2 fighters. That's twice as good.
I am the smart. I am the smart. I am the smart. I am the smart. S-M-R-T. I mean S-M-A-R-T.
Double plus good. Okay, and up here, of course, the battleship got sunk. So we had to build another one. We built a battleship and a destroyer this turn. I was actually thinking about a Sea Lion. I was actually thinking about it, and here's why. We've got fighter, bomber, 2 fighters, bomber, bombard, and then 2 units. Now that's before the Americans showed up and before the British brought a tank over from Canada. So I was thinking about it at the end of the German turn, and because I thought about it so much, I decided to shore up the Brits. So yeah, there's no way that's happening now. Plus, I think the Germans need to... now, remember how I said I was going to try to stop this from becoming a big problem? So yeah, we got some things to do. I did build a sub and a bomber for the Germans. So I'm holding true to that stratagem. And over here we have the Americans with the 2 transport build, 2 men, 2 artillery, and a bomber. So they could come south to Africa. They could go north and keep loading up for a D-Day invasion. Time will tell. I will decide when to pull the trigger on that one. And that could be one of those, go north into the Soviet, head up to Karelia, or head into France, or maybe head into Morocco and go for the soft underbelly like we originally planned. But time will tell. All right, here we go. Round 2 coming up. What is going to happen, especially with India? Heading into round 3, and I believe we have reached our choose your own adventure part. So allow me to go through what's going on here first, so you can see that the Pacific is quite that. It's quite passive. But the Americans did do an attack. They brought in a destroyer and a couple of fighters in their bomber. And they sank a carrier and a destroyer, but they lost a destroyer and a fighter. So I decided to back off because I had a bomber and a fighter left, and they had 2 fighters. It's only 1 pip of difference, and if I had pushed the issue, I might have lost both of mine, not got a hit. Maybe I kill that and both transports, who knows. But at this point, transports are not a huge threat to me on this side, and going this way they could be. There's only 3 infantry there, though, so I thought it was better to keep some sort of threat, because imagine if I had lost the bomber and the fighter, I'd be down to 1 fighter in the Pacific. That would be it. And I don't really feel like rebuilding from scratch again anytime soon. Over here, very interesting stuff going on. We had the Japanese come and marshal their carriers out of harm's way from the Americans down here. And they kept their battle wagon and their cruiser in 37. And the British did not take Burma, and we're going to talk about that in a second. As I sometimes forget to do, I forgot to put the Chinese infantry on and move the other guys. So anyway, there we go. That's what we're doing there. That should slow down the Japanese. Japanese did build a factory here though, because I think we need more stuff on the continent quickly. Up here we moved some stuff over, and the Russians decided to play defense a little longer. Over here, this was carnage. So the Germans actually took the Caucasus, took it and held it with 3 tanks. So the Soviets came back and attacked and lost 4 infantry taking it back, but they took it back, which is good for them. And you can see the Germans don't have a lot back here, but they did take Karelia, and with authority. In fact, I put it into the battle calculator and it said 100%. So there were 7 Russian infantry versus 8 German infantry, 2 tanks, 2 artillery, 2 fighters, and a bomber, and a bombard with the cruiser. Oh, I put it here. It's not really there. I put it there just to remind me to roll a dice for it. So yeah, it's at 100%. I don't know if I've ever seen 100% before on a battle calculator, but I rolled it out anyway, and yeah, it was 100%. Germany got hit again by this time by the American Air Force. The mighty 8th came in, did their shtick, and yeah, we have there's just a lot of interesting decisions that went on. The Brits came up here and took Norway, and the Americans have bolstered them with some artillery and infantry. So we've only got 3 transports up here for the Brits, 1 for the Americans. So there's not a ton of punch there, but not terribly bad. And the Germans, of course, have their large bomber fleet and fighter, like I said I was going to build. Plus I built another sub and drew the other one back from C-Zone 6. So they now have 3 subs. They have... and 3, can that bomber 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah, so the 3 bombers can reach and 3 subs can reach. So might have to hit that. I don't think the fighters can reach because there's nowhere for them to land now, so that's unfortunate for them. But yeah, so 3 bombers and 3 subs going after 4 destroyers and a battleship, or 5 destroyers and a battleship. So that'd be interesting, but that's not the actual one that I was talking about. We'll keep going on here. The British attacked into Libya, lost everything except for the fighter, but took out everything. So I decided to kill my British tank and let the Libyans have it, or the Italians have it. Oh no, wait, no, the tank survived. Plane landed back here. I brought these guys up from here, but then the Italians took out the lone British tank here. That wasn't really a problem for them. And the Italians, as you can see here, scampering around, just grabbing all the money they possibly can.
Money, please.
Oh, no, there's no money.
Oh, my bad. No problem.
Oh, okay.
That's fine. I'll just destroy this office.
Oh, hey!
But the Americans did Operation Torch, landed here, and are being the pesky people that they know that they can be. And the problem is to get to these guys here, I am going to have to use a German bomber, which kind of would take us out of that. I could use an Italian boat, but then it's out here and it's definitely getting smacked, and I wouldn't even bring out the whole fleet because those British bombers and fighters would come down here and make short work of that. So yeah, the Axis are kind of hurting a little bit here. Not a ton of stuff left for them here in the Soviet Union, and the Russians, since they could only build 6 things, built 6 tanks, and so they've got quite the offensive punch right now, but not a lot of cheap infantry to deal with the casualties that are sure to come. Then the Americans here built another couple of transports. So looks like we're trying to head over this way. Not a lot of money here. And if you can't actually threaten Rome, there's really not much point. So I still see a good way for the Allies to go, but if I can see it, so can my opponent, who happens to be me. All right, we are now reaching that moment where you get to decide what you would do, and then I will play it out both ways, and then I'll just play it right to the end. I won't have any more choose your own adventure style things. So, on the Japanese turn, the Soviets, the only thing they could do to bolster India would be to bring the bomber down, and I'm not going to do that. And that wouldn't help them win anyway on the battle calculator. But I put into the battle calculator this battle. And the reason the Brits didn't take Burma is because they'd have to send at least 2 things over there, and one of them would probably be a tank. I have no air force here. And obviously, there'll be stuff that's stuck here. And with... Oh, I just knocked down a British destroyer. And with the Japanese able to bring 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fighters, we'll have bombards, and they'll be able to bring with their 2 transports here, they could bring 2 tanks and 2 men. Okay, so 2 tanks, 2 men, 5 fighters, and the bombards against what would likely be less stuff. They'd have the tanks and the Russians because they just put them there, but you'd probably, just to ensure that you would take this, would have to send at least that much. So I decided not to send it, and I put in the battle calculator, and the battle calculator says 61% that the Japanese will win. So this is your chance, dear viewer, to decide that yes, we are going to have Japan attack, or no, we are going to have the Japanese continue to build up. We've got this factory up here, and attack at a later time. Still protect themselves. I don't think they're under a ton of threat here, considering how much firepower they can bring. They still got a couple fighters here looking for fun. So they're not in any real danger. But if they lose this battle, and the British are left with some tanks, you know, they can now put some direct pressure on Japan. So, knowing that this is the layout of the board right now, Japanese did build a bomber last turn. They do have 3 guys that they can bring over to Burma, as far as Burma this turn. And China is down to 1 guy per turn. So, and likely going to stay like that unless the Chinese decide to move out and attack, which is possible. But that's where we are. That's the situation, and again, the situation here. So the other option the Japanese have, of course, is to just grab these 2 transports, come on over, and make a landing in Egypt, and probably take Egypt. So that's the other option. So let's make that those are our options. Attack Calcutta right now, or we'll go and take Egypt. And that'll free up the Italians to face the Americans. So what do you think we should do? All right, so I'm going to just stop the video now, and I'll put out a time code and let you know where to go. And then you can enjoy the fruits of your decision. Calcutta or Cairo. All right, if you chose to go for Calcutta, here we go. I did bring in 1 carrier to take out the British transport, so that's done. And I have set up the battle board. Here is the Japanese build, by the way, in case you're wondering. They're saving $5, but they're building 5 tanks, 3 subs, because again, not much is going on out here, and if I can keep that thing at arm's length, that'll probably be a good idea. All right, so here the battle board is set up, and like I said, the odds calculator said this was going to be a 6 out of 10 for the Japanese. And as you look at it, yeah, kind of has that look. But the first round, the all-important first round, will let us know. And I'm just using regular dice today. I just wanted to get plans. So we have an anti-aircraft gun to start. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So get a hit or two here. Might change the odds a bit. Oh my goodness. So 2 fighters go down. 2 fighters. Just like that. Well, that changes things quite a bit, I think. I think the odds are probably a little bit more even now. But again, here we go. Now we got the bombard. We have a cruiser at 3. That's a miss. And the battleship at 4. So that's a hit. And we're going to use our handy dandy bomb dice. So that's 1 hit that the Japanese have made. All right, now they've got 4 at 1. 4 at 1. And nothing there. And then we, 4 at 1. Jeez, forgot about the artillery. Okay, well, we won't worry because we missed with everything anyway. So here's 2 at 2, and they missed as well. Now we've got 5 at 3. Oh, finally woke up. So 4 hits tacked onto the 1. So that's 5 hits total for the Japanese to start things off. That seems pretty fair for them. Might be 1 low and maybe 2 low because there's no fighter. Okay, I'm going to put the anti-aircraft gun back because, of course, they survive. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We got 9 coming at you here that we're defending. And don't forget our friends, the Russians. Those Russians are down there helping bulk up the defenses of Calcutta. And the 2s. Well, that's exactly the right amount that we should have gotten, was 3 hits. So we got 3. And now we've got 3 tanks at 3. 3 tanks at 3. Oh, only 1 hit that time. So 4 hits. Okay. So 5 hits. The Ruskies, you know, we love you, buddy, but you're gone. And then 3 more. So that's 5 hits. And we got 4 hits on this side. Of course, that'll be the 4 infantry. Okay. So now, these are the odds now. These boats, of course, are off in C-Zone 35 having a good time. So now we can see we've got 2 artillery and 2 men and 3 tanks versus 1 artillery and 5 at 3. So I think the odds are a little bit with Calcutta right now. But let's see what happens. So we've got 1 at 2. That's a miss. And then we've got 5 at 3. Okay, so 3 hits. 3 hits. Okay. And now we've got the British at 2. 1 hit. And then we've got 3 tanks. Need some hits here. Nope, just 2. 2 total. Okay. So 3 hits, of course. Get rid of those. 2 hits. There we go. Now, of course, we need to leave a tank. And right now, the odds, just because of that 1 pip, have turned 1 pip into the favor of the Japanese. So we'll see. They've got 4 at 3. They got 2 hits. That's the exact amount they should have received. So 2 hits for the Japanese. And then 1 at 2. Oh, that's a hit. And 3 at 3. And another hit. So 2 hits each. So 1 tank, 1 artillery. And then we have to lose 2 fighters for the Japanese. Now they have a pretty healthy economy, so they can replace all this stuff. All right. 2 at 3 versus 2 at 3. The Japanese fire, 1 hit. The British fire back, no hits. So the Japanese still have 2 at 3. That's the last hit they needed. So they will take Calcutta. Will it cost them a plane? It will not. So the British have lost Calcutta. The Japanese have lost everything but a tank and a fighter. So the fighter we're going to have land on the carrier. Okay. Well, that is very exciting. Of course, there's nothing going on anywhere in Asia. And with America doing the kill Germany first bit here, it hasn't been a problem at all. So, I am going to show you something. This is something of a spoiler, though. I think this game is pretty much over. if the Axis had lost this, and convincingly lost this, I think the game would be very important to continue. But as we see here, now it's not a done deal, of course, but the Soviets are pretty hard pressed. They've put their build on already. So they put on 5 more tanks. So they have 11 tanks, 3 men, 2 artillery, and a bomber. So it's 11 plus 3 is 14, 2 artillery, 16, so 17. Okay? And most of them are rolling at 3s, so not terrible odds. But the Germans can bring those 4. Then the artillery, that's 5. These 2 tanks, that's 7. 4 fighters is 11. 3 more tanks is 14. And I believe there's 8 total infantry here, so that's 22. Then they can bring 3 more tanks and 3 more bombers into the Soviet Union to start the next turn. So I think it's probably going to fall anyway, and if it does, that'll be curtains because of this. Yes, I did the attack, and I had 3 subs, a cruiser, and 3 bombers. And yeah, they shellacked that fleet. Only lost 2 subs and a cruiser. And yeah, so there's not much going on here. Yes, we've got some transports, but they're completely unprotected. And even though it will cost the Italians a cruiser, I am definitely going to send a cruiser out there to take care of that nonsense and block them from landing anything else. Then these guys are stranded. And so I think that's the game, folks. I know it's a little anticlimactic. I'll play out the rest of the round and see if there's any kind of pressure I can put on. But I think the Germans are going to snipe. It's a pretty decent amount of cash, too. I think it's like $20 from the Russians. And taking this factory here. Now they have 3 factories on the Asian mainlands. Like the Soviet Union is cooked. And now Japan can actually start turning its attention towards the Americas and also go take Australia and New Guinea at their leisure. So I don't really see a ton of reason to continue on, but I will, and I'll show you at the end of this turn what the board looks like. But the Germans, I mean, I built a ton of tanks here, thinking I would likely lose. I was building up a great big response if somebody landed in France or something, but not necessary now, and I don't think they're going to be needed in the Soviet Union. All right, well, we'll play out the rest of this round with the UK and Italy and America, and then we'll see if we should continue. Okay, so as you have seen, Calcutta fell. The Italians were able to bulk up here. America came out. The cruiser cost the Italians a cruiser to sink the 2 transports, but then they also shot down a fighter. And up here, I have brought out all the stuff I possibly could to help out the Russians, and there's still 80% to lose this fight. Should they hold on, I had the Brits build 4 fighters, and America has one over there. Oh wait, the American one can make it over there too. I'm going to redo the battle calculator. I'll let you know what it is when I set it up, but I'm sure that's not going to be much of a difference. British took Finland, a few extra bucks, but overall, folks, yeah. Looks like the Calcutta crush, which it kind of was because it was turn 3, looks like it's going to pay off well here because the Germans got some really good dice on round 2. And, well, we'll roll it out. Let's take a look. All right, so here is the battle for Moscow. I brought over the American fighter, and the odds went from just under 80% to just over 63%. That one fighter had about a 16% increase in the Soviets' chances. There's still 2-1 to lose, but smart money's on Germany, definitely, but we'll see how this goes. And that's before the anti-aircraft gun barks. So, and there are going to be a lot of shots here. There's going to be 7 shots. So we're going to do 7 shots at 1. Okay, so that's 1 less fighter. And if you'll indulge me, folks, I am going to go back to the calculator and I'm going to see what the odds are now. Well, you're not going to believe this, folks. It is even odds now. It's about 50.5% to 49.5%. Still the Germans, but hardly convincing. So we're going to just get things going here. So we just had 7 ones for the Russian anti-aircraft. Now we have 7 ones for the German infantry. Will they also score a hit? Not even close. Wow, that's a lot of bad rolls. All right, but hey, one roll the game does not make. I've never believed it, and I never will. So I really remember the bad ones. Here are the 2s. Ah, look at that. Just like that, right on cue. We have 4 hits, and I have a feeling those bomb dice aren't going to work for this many casualties. So we'll put the 4 up there. All right. Now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we have 11 at 3. So there's 6, 9, 10, 11. I don't know why I'm putting them in there because they're impossible to grab as a group. Okay, so these are the 3s for the Germans. Need a good showing. Oh, that's a good showing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 hits. So that's going to move this from 4 to 11. So we'll just do that. And we'll grab one from here. So that's 11 hits that the Germans have gotten. And they still have their mighty bomber fleet here. So 3 bombers with 3 more hits. So that's going to go to 14. So 14 hits on the Ruskies. All right, so they'll need to get about that many at least if they want to skate with the Germans on this one. I'm going to put the anti-aircraft gun back. There were actually 2 anti-aircraft guns because I moved the one out of the Caucasus. I figured that was fairly prudent. All right, so we've got 4 at 1. 4 at 1. Will the bombers... Nope, nobody's having to pay for that one. Oh, actually, I got too many guys over here. Oh, no, they're all 2s. I got offense on the brain here. All right, I'm just not used to seeing so few infantry defending Moscow at the end. Here we go. 5 at 2. So we ended up with 2 hits. Okay, so we're going to put 2 hits. All right, so but the 3s is where their strength is here, and the 4s as well. May the 4s be with you, eh? All right, so we've got 11 3s. 11 3s. I believe that's the same number the Germans had, and Germans got 7. How will the Russians fare? Not as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Not terribly, but not great. So from 2 up to 7. Up to 7. So they're half right now, so they're not going to meet. Even if all these guys hit, they're still not getting as many hits as the Germans got on them. 5 at 4. And they missed 2 of those dice. They got 3 more. So that's going to move them up to 10 hits. All right, so we got 14 hits. Of course, you got to lose the bombers. It's sad, but there you go. So there's 4 of the 14. So we need 10 more. We need 8 more. We need 5 more. And that's that stack of tanks. Not looking good for the Soviets. And then we got 10. So that's going to be these 7 infantry for the Germans and these 3 infantry for the Germans. Yeah, not looking great. Not looking great. I think if the battle calculator had these, it would be about a 95% chance. So much for our 50-50, I suppose. But hey, we all know what a difference a round can make. Here are the Germans. They got one hit. 1 hit. And now they've got, I believe it's 11. Yeah, because they've got 8 tanks and 3 fighters. So 11. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. All right, here we go. Oh man, the Germans are racking them up here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's 1 more than last time. So that's 9 hits total. 9 hits total. So that'll be a 3 and a 6. So that's 9 hits total. And you only need 2 more. So if these bombers get 2 hits, and they got 3 hits. So that's it, folks, for the battle. We'll just see what the Germans have left. So we've got 6 at 3. Wow. What a time to choke. So 2 hits. battle for your capital. And then we've got 5 dice at 4. Oh my goodness. 2 hits, so 4 whole hits. So that's going to be 3 artillery, 1 tank. Yeah, folks, this is going to be a no-doubter. We're going to put this in as a definite Axis win. I guess going for Calcutta was the way to go. So congratulations if you chose the Calcutta Crush and you were on the side of the Axis. Maybe you're on the side of the Allies and you said, go for it, you'll destroy yourselves. But it didn't work out that way. Okay, we'll see. I'm going to reset the board to what it was before and we'll take a look and see what happens if they don't go for Calcutta. So, if you are here, it means that you chose to play it a little safer at this point, knowing that you're kind of exposed back here, that if the Americans decide to dump a big build into the Pacific, you cannot defend. You'll have to scramble everything back. You'll have to start building back here, and it's going to be difficult. So, we're going to leave Calcutta alone this turn. We might come next turn, right? But this turn, we're going to muster our forces a little bit, and maybe we'll put a little bit of hurt down on the Chinese at the same time. Now, there are a couple of things I do need to make clear. As this is Japan's turn, so here's the build. We got 5 tanks, 3 subs. That's, we're just putting that out there to keep that carrier at bay. But there are some things you need to know. First of all, the Germans have been able to marshal up quite a bit of stuff here. In the top here, they're going to have quite a number of things that can hit Moscow. And the odds calculator right now has them at pretty decent favorites at this point. They are at about 80% that they will take Moscow. So, or is this about 90%? I've done a lot of battle calculators, but they just simply do not have enough depth of defense. So, having said that, maybe the Calcutta deal isn't such a big decision at this point. But if the Soviets hold, or at least really knock the Germans down, then perhaps Calcutta could be a base of hope where they can sally forth and perhaps cause some grief to the Japanese on this side of the map. So we will do the Japanese turn. Oh, there is something else I need to mention is, this fleet up here is gone for the Allies. That happened, of course, on the German turn, and it was rather convincing. They were able to take out the entire fleet for the loss of 2 subs and a cruiser. And so their bombers are up here, their fighters are here in Belarusia, all within range, which is why the Soviets look like they are ill-prepared to weather this storm. But they are where they are, and it is what it is. So we are going to not do any attack on Calcutta. In fact, we are going to head on over to Egypt with everything that can go. And when I say everything that can go, well, all of these fighters can make it. Of course, the battleship and the cruiser can make it. And along the way, one of the fighters will take out this transport, and then we'll probably have the cruiser take out that. So I can use the other 3 fighters and the ground forces in the attack. Now, what this is going to do is allow the British to move into Burma in strength. So we'll probably, I guess I won't retreat that guy because then the tanks can blitz. But we'll be building 2 tanks here. We'll be building 3 tanks here. And these 4 fighters will all be within range to strike Burma next turn. So it's not as though it's a free ride for the British, but I think it'll make this part of the map quite interesting. And of course, the Japanese bomber can come down and lend some support this way as well. So we are going to do the attack on Egypt, and I'll just roll that out for you right here, because I rolled out the Calcutta one and showed that to the other people. Now maybe you're watching the whole video and you're seeing what happened both. I suspect a lot of people are, but maybe you chose this one first and you'll go back and see the other result momentarily. So heading across, we're going to have these guys go across. Of course, the transport does not make a C-zone hostile. So we'll have the bombard with the battleship, but the cruiser is going to take out that one. And actually what I can do is I can have a carrier take out that transport. And that way all four... Oh, does he have to wait though? No, can't do that. We're going to have to use a fighter. Sorry folks, I've got so many rule sets going through my head. It's hard to keep everything straight. So anyway, these two transports are X transports at this point. And these four fighters are all going to head over. These three fighters are going to head over and deal with that. Meanwhile, these two transports are going to pick up 2 mans. Okay, that's some infantry. And then we're going to take, well, we're placing 2 tanks this turn, so let's grab a couple of tanks. And having a couple tanks here is good too, because they can zip back this way and put pressure on Calcutta from the other side. So we'll be landing 2 tanks and 2 mans in egg wiped, as my father-in-law used to say. All right, so let's roll that out. It's a pretty minor battle. There won't be any other battles going on here either. There's nothing that I can really get to. I can't get to any American stuff. And there's no sense slamming into a bunch of 2s when they attack at a 1. So I'll just stay here and play some defense. Thinking about going to Yakut with the 1 infantry, but I don't think I will. I think I'll just leave him there. And we won't be attacking the Chinese or the Soviets in China at this juncture. Okay, so let's roll this out. We've got a bombard at 4. So that is 1 hit. We'll put that there. I only need 3 hits here. And then we have 2 infantry at 1. Nope. And then we have 2 tanks and 3 planes at 3. Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah, that's good stuff there. All right, so this is going to actually do a good thing for the Axis on this side. It's going to free them up. So the British defenders, so we got 1 hit with the infantry, and the fighter, another hit. So that's 2 hits. We'll just take the 2 mans, and the British go away. And of course, I don't have a Japanese roundel handy. Okay. And then they have only 1 space they can go. So they could land in Libya and protect against the Americans, but the Italians are going to protect themselves. So we're going to bring over the carriers, and all the planes are going to land on the carriers. So that's pretty much it for the Japanese turn this round. Of course, there'll be our non-coms and some movement around, but for the most part, that is it. And so we'll let you know how the rest of round 3 goes. All right. Was that a mistake? Time will tell. All right, heading into round 4, and looking pretty bleak for the Allies, but because they still have Calcutta, there's a little bit of hope for them. You can see the Americans have done a pivot, a 180, and we are now pouring everything into the Pacific, hoping to draw the Japanese off a little bit, because although they do have 2 tanks in Cairo, that's all they've got. Everything else is back here. Calcutta's pretty healthy. China is a little resurgent. So, yeah, they're not that they're much of a threat, because 3 tanks just got built there by the Japanese, but still it's fun to play. You already saw what went on here, so no changes at all, except the British built 3 more tanks in Calcutta. I was debating whether or not to build 1 fighter instead of the tanks, but we went with the tanks, and yeah, we just decided that was kind of the way to go. And the rest of the money we spent was on 2 fighters back home. So this is what Moscow is looking like right now. This is really the linchpin of the whole thing. They are... They're just being defended right now by some Anglo-American planes, and I don't think it's going to be enough, and we'll see. Odds calculator right now has them at about 73% to win, so looks pretty good for the Germans. But we'll roll it out, and we'll roll it out with you so you can see what goes on. You can see chunks of the board are quite empty. This is interesting, though, in that there's quite a bit of American stuff in Africa. Not much to counter the Italian fleet, though. And again, sacrificing a cruiser to kill a couple of transports as a trade, which the Italians did. You'll see they only have one cruiser left. And the two fighters that came across from the States killed the cruiser and landed here in Morocco, Algeria. So that was 2 transports for a cruiser. And that might be good. I'm not sure. Before Italy goes next, though, these 2 British destroyers who have come all the way from over here and Australia are going to circumnavigate the globe and end up over here in Sea Zone 12, hoping to lend a little bit of posture to the lone American transports. All right, well, it's all going to come down to the Battle for Moscow, so we'll set that up. We'll roll it out. If the Germans win, that's likely going to be it, because there's really not much. There's no fleet up here for the threatening the continent, and although this is a little bit more interesting than when Calcutta gets attacked. Yeah, well, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. We'll see if it's a convincing win, or perhaps the Soviets eke out a small victory. And there is a lot of German tanks I built here. I built another 6 tanks, just in case this does not go well for them. They'll be able to hit it with a good 1-2 punch shortly afterwards. Okay, here we go, round 4. This game has gone really quickly. Except for me having to reset the board for the choice of Calcutta or Cairo. The game is played very rapidly. I've been doing a lot of attacking. I'm usually a very cautious player, but today I said, what the heck, let's chuck those dice. And it shows. Very empty board. All right, here we go, the Battle for Moscow. Will they pull off an upset? All right, here is the Battle for Moscow. This is for, well, maybe all the marbles. We'll see. See if the Soviets are able to take care of business here. You'll notice one of the American bombers is gone, but also 2 infantry and 1 German artillery are gone. I forgot to actually take them off from Archangel, but I did a strafing run when I came over with the Americans, because I had the 3 aircraft versus 4 ground units, and I figured, what the heck? Because if we can, even if we trade 3 for 3, I'm losing a couple of 1s, and they're losing 4s, like 2s, I should say, but probably more units. And it worked out. We lost 1 bomber, lost 2 infantry, 1 artillery for the Germans. So the odds have dropped down a little bit. It's right around 60-40 as a German victory. Still pretty comfortable odds, but we're going to get going here. So there are 4 fighters and 3 bombers. So that's 7 dice at 1 for the AAA. Oh my. All right. Well, 2 German fighters just got removed. And if you'll indulge me, folks, I am just going to pause the video, go back to my odds calculator, and see what we got. All right. Well, the Germans' odds of winning just dropped down to about 25%.
Oh, crap.
Losing those 2 fighters. And it's about 70% for the Russians, and then about a 5% chance mutual destruction. So, well, we're going to roll this out. We'll see. So we got 2 hits on 7 dice. So the Germans come back. They've got 6 infantry here. So 6 dice at 1. Oh, man, the 1s are hot today. Look at that. So we've got 2. We'll put that up there for the Germans. And we got 4 dice at 2. Oh my goodness, look at this. 2 more hits, so it's up to 4. Well, the Germans don't care about the odds. Maybe a Han Solo thing. All right, so we got 10. 10 dice at 3. Oh my goodness. Looks like we've got 7 hits. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 hits. So that's 11 then. That's 11 hits for the Germans. That's pretty good. And then we've got 3 more dice for the Bombers. Whoops, 1, 2. Okay, so a little flatter on that one, but still an even dozen. Okay. Dozen hits. Well, let's see if the Allies can match. Well, we got 3 at 1. Here we go. Well, look at that. 1 hit. Now we have 5 at 2. 5 at 2. Holy cow. 4 hits. Well, Moscow may hold. All right. I got to stop saying stuff like that. People, just tell me to shut up.
Would you do me a favor? Would you please shut up?
You telling me to shut up?
I'm telling you to shut up. I will tell your recorder so that you don't forget. Hello, this is Chuck to remind Bill to shut up.
You know, when I say stupid things. All right, yeah, there you go. Now we're throwing nothing here. So 1, 2, 3 hits. 3 hits on 11 dice. So yeah, I spoke way too soon. So 6, 2 more. All right, so we're up to 8. So we're 12-8 right now. So if they roll all 4s or less here, they'll tie the Germans. And they got 3 of them. So not terribly bad, but maybe I should have kept my big fat mouth shut.
Do you think so?
Okay, so 12 for the Allies. Of course, the bombers, our multinational bomber wing is gone. So that's 3, that's 6, that's 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So already into the tanks. Okay, and we only got 11 on them, so that's 6. Well, I guess we're into the tanks on these guys as well. So there you go. All right, so we got 7 tanks versus 7 tanks. But the Germans have 2. Well, it's really close, folks. This is really close. I think the Germans rolled better than they were supposed to there at 25% victory. Okay, so we have, what did I just say? 7, 8, 9. 9 dice at 3. 9 dice at 3. Oh, that's pretty good. Well, I guess that's, yeah, it's pretty good. So 6 hits. 6 hits for the Germans. And then they have 3 bombers. Okay, so 2 more hits. So 8 hits total. So that'll take care of the tanks. I think there's 7. Yeah. 7 tanks. So 7. They need to score nothing but hits here. They need to roll really, really well. And they did okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hits. Not bad. Not enough though, I think. And then we have 4 fighters in defense. Oh, that's not good at all. That's not good at all. So 8 to 6. So that's all the tanks and the American fighter. And we got 6 hits. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We'll hold on to the 1 tank to claim the territory. Well, I think that's all over but the crying, folks. 3 dice for the Germans. Yeah, we got 2 hits there. Only 1 more hit. Who wants to go to Vegas with me? I think it'd be a lot of fun. Okay. Well, so we got 2 hits. And coming back, 2 hits. So, should have done better. Should have done better. They got 2 hits. All right. The Germans come back with the tank. And 1. There we go. I'll roll them all out. Okay, well, only 1 hit, but that's all they needed. And coming back, we got a hit. So the bomber goes away. So that is that, folks. That is all she wrote. I'm having a bit of a crisis here because I'm wondering if I actually got 2 hits or 1 hit for the Germans that last round. I think I did it right, but I'm going to go back and check, and if not, the Germans are in the Soviet Union here in Russia with 1 tank. So give me a moment. Yeah, I did it right. So the bombers landed up there, a little bit of German non-com, but really, folks, I think that's it. The Soviets are pretty much done. Even if they get a lucky roll here and take back Russia, they're just going to collect money, and then the stack of 6 tanks will come down, take it back, get another payday, and yeah, I think it's all over but the crying at this point. We'll definitely have the Italians take care of those final 2 transports, even if the British come up. The Italians will definitely, and they got the fighters down here to help out as well. And then the Japanese are going to zip across Transjordan, so then their fleet can actually come into here, shore that up. As interesting as this could be, the Japanese have quite a bit of money right now. I don't see the British being able to dislodge them and protect Calcutta at the same time here. The math just doesn't work out too well. Plus, the Japanese can kind of kamikaze at this point, right? They can just send, everybody into Calcutta and whittle it down to maybe a tank or 2, and then hit it again and hit it again and hit it again, and with the tanks that they're building here in the mainland. So I don't think Calcutta was the linchpin that I thought it would be. I thought really a lot would hinge on this. I thought if he didn't take Calcutta, there'd be a chance to stave off disaster. But after the Germans wiped out that fleet, I really didn't think I was going to win that battle, especially with all my bombers surviving. Can you imagine this battle here would be very different without those German bombers? And also, if there was a fleet here at all that was threatening landings, yeah, very different game. So we'll try another do your own adventure thing in the future, but hopefully you enjoyed that. I wish it had gone on a little longer, had been a little bit more groundbreaking, but just so you know, it is quite a difficult thing to do because I have to go back and watch the videos and reset the board and make sure everything's in the exact same spots, and it ain't easy, but I hope you enjoyed it. And as we always say here at the Hilltop Pillbox, if we can speak clearly, hug your loved ones, thank your friends for playing, and may those dice be with you.